Hey everyone, Ben Coomber Radio. Right, so remember when we've talked about shows before and we've talked about personal development and who you aspire to be and who you like and who you respect in the fitness industry? You would have seen me talk or heard me talk in the past about Richard Branson. I think he's a very inspirational character. I think he's tried to change a lot in the world. So when Virgin reached out to me and said, "Hey Ben, would you like to communicate with someone inside Virgin?" I was like, "Oh, Richard wants a chat." They were like, no, but we're close. So I'm speaking to the general manager at Virgin Sport today, which is poignant because it's a health and fitness podcast. Duh. So Jessica Frey, we even talked about that at the beginning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So this is a really cool office. Like there's post boxes and doors and like it looks like a phone booth and there's cork and like I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go to my little home office in my second bedroom and I think I'm gonna feel a little bit deflated if I'm honest. This is a pretty cool place to work.
It is, yeah. We have a conference room for each one of our core values. So there's a delightfully surprising room. I think this is the insatiable curiosity room.
Ooh, yeah. How poignant.
This is like a curiosity cabinet here.
That's actually fairly empty.
Yeah, sadly.
You need to fill it with some of your medals or something.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, you're right.
Bring some of your medals in, say.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your background. Let's give some context. You are the general manager here at Virgin Sport, but you have a massive background in professional sport. Brag a little. Who are you? Who is Jessica?
Jessica Frey. I started working for Virgin Sport as we founded the company about 3 years ago, and part of that I worked for the New York City Marathon and New York Roadrunner, so I've been working in mass participation fitness for quite a while, and I'm a big runner myself and fitness person, so I do a couple marathons every year. Just ran, I think, my 24th marathon,
wow,
if we're counting, last weekend in Paris.
I will confess I've never run a marathon.
That's okay.
Should I run one?
It depends.
Why?
If you think it's fun, if you're gonna have fun with it, if it's a chore, if you don't have friends that want to run with you, then it's not as much fun.
I love that answer. I love it. We talk an awful lot on the podcast about doing what puts a smile on your face, but I think sometimes you got to just try things, right? You've got to, you've got to try running. You've got to find out if you like it.
Yeah.
And would you say that's, because if we look at what you're trying to create here at Virgin Sport, it sounds like there's a huge amount of emphasis being put on kind of like entry-level participation, like getting people to take smaller steps that might lead to much bigger events. Yeah,
we use the term right-size challenges. So we're not pushing everybody to do a marathon. We think there's a challenge for everyone. It might be a boxing class or a really fast 5K or just dancing for 2 hours, but just moving your body and having fun, and that there is something for everyone, and it might not be, a marathon might not be for you, or half marathon even.
So I'm fascinated by the sort of values and the purpose behind any fitness initiative, and I think if we look at what you're trying to achieve here at Virgin Sport and with the initiatives that you run, there's a certain mission. And I like talking about missions because I'm immensely passionate about changing lives through communicating nutrition and mindset habit change. Talk to me about your mission here. Like, what are you trying to do? And, like, why is it important to you?
So Virgin is our parent company, and we're born out of Virgin itself, and we're incubated by Virgin, and their purpose is business for good, and every business that they found, we truly believe, is making a positive impact on the world. And Virgin Sport's specific mission is to move the world through sport, and we really want to bring people and communities together in doing that. So that's why we're here every day in the insatiable curiosity room, planning massive events to try to bring communities together and inspire people to move their bodies, because we believe that makes life better and can really connect people.
Of course. Okay. So with movement, to try and help people understand what movement should mean for them. Like, talk to me about movement in your life. Like, you're a big runner.
Mm-hmm.
How does running feel for you? Like, there's a certain kind of, once you get running, you feel that there's a purpose for you in running. When you go out and you're like, oh, I should feel alive. Like, describe how you feel when you run, and almost what other people should feel when they do exercise. And the reason why I ask this question is I believe that there's a lot of people that exercise through social norms. You know, they feel that they should go to the gym. They feel that they should do a certain thing. And actually, I keep trying to tell people, and you talked about this at the beginning, about when you look at something, like, ask yourself, are you having fun? Is it as simple as just doing something to have fun? So kind of talk me through that process, because it sounded like you got bitten by the bug of running quite early on, and you've kept at it, so it ticks a lot of boxes for you, but I'm interested why.
I started running marathons in 2006. I was in college, and I'm a really goal-oriented person, and I love structure. So to me, to have an 18-week training plan and I tick off a box with a red X every day is something that I really thrive on. And I think that's why running's such a great fit for my fitness life. And I grew up swimming, so I was trained to entertain myself mentally, and running is so mental. All you have to do is distract yourself, and I have a lot of tactics for doing that now, so I end up having more fun with it because I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat or what I'm going to do afterwards, or I'm having a conversation with a friend and I don't even realize that I'm working out. And then outside of running, I've experimented a lot, and so I've gone to all sorts of classes, and I know which ones I'm going to dread, which instructors I like and which I don't, and what style really fits me. So I don't like to do anything that I don't want to do in my fitness life, because there's so many options out there these days. You can look forward to your workout every day, whether it's like you've set up time to run with someone you want to catch up with, or I'm going to do Pilates with Linda and I know she's going to make me laugh while we're doing it.
So outside of your running, you've obviously got a running regime. You run a certain amount of miles per week, depending on what you're doing and what you're training towards. What does it look like outside the running? Do you go? Do you do like strength training? How does it look?
I do ClassPass. I'm a huge fan of ClassPass.
Yes.
So I pay.
Which is a London thing, right?
It's a London thing. I think they're in 20, 30 cities worldwide.
Okay. So
you pay the membership fee. I don't belong to a gym, but I bounce around all these different studios. And I love that I get fined if I don't go. So I go because it's like insult to injury. You feel guilty for not going. And if you get fined 20 pounds on top of that, then...
20 pounds if you don't go to one gym session?
That's what it is. Maybe 15, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big pocket money.
So that's a real motivator. That's how I get out of bed sometimes in the morning. It's not always fun. Sometimes I need that extra incentive.
Sure.
Or accountability.
So what kind of classes do you love going to? What excites you?
I do TRX classes. I love the mega former. I do a lot of Pilates on that and reformer. I do HIIT type classes, strength generally. I don't like to do cardio indoors. I'm not a big spinner or treadmill runner.
So we'd never find you on a treadmill doing 12 miles because it says the training plan, you want to get outside and you want to enjoy.
Yeah. I do my cardio outside.
That's good. I like that. I don't think enough people get outside, and I think it's very easy, very, very easy to put a barrier up of why you can't get outside. The weather's bad, it's cold, it's smoggy, it's whatever.
There's only bad clothing, not bad weather. That's my
good.
belief.
I like it. I like it. So when's your next race? Like, what are you training for right now?
I just ran a marathon last weekend, so now I'm kind of regrouping and trying to decide what to focus on next. I run the New York City Marathon every year because after having worked for that race, it has a special place in my heart. So I'm a streaker, which means something a little bit different in the running world.
What does it mean? You've now got me curious.
When you run a race every year, or some people streak on a daily basis, meaning like they run every single day of their lives. Like I know a guy that's been a streaker for 30 years. Every single day gets at least a mile in.
Wow. I suppose when it's just a mile, like a mile's not that much.
No, right. Yeah. That's another tactic too. You just tell yourself all you have to do is something small.
I think it's also a commitment to the process.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing it? what benefits do you get from it, will actually make a commitment to do it every day. Like if we take healthy eating, exercise, anything, like the chances are you're going to get the most return if you invest the time daily to make that habit and get the benefit out of it. So in terms of what you're trying to achieve from the kind of race perspective, the charity perspective, aside from just kind of like joining a 5K and trying to get people to enter the races, what do you feel people can achieve in and around it from a personal perspective? Like someone enters a race, we've got a 5K coming up. Are you supporting part of that journey as well? Are you sort of almost helping people train towards it, giving them tips? Like you've got some information and content that can support their journey?
Yeah, we do try to do that. And one thing that's maybe a bit unique about Virgin Sport is we're not trying to reinvent a training process or provide all this training content and programs ourselves, because there's so much out there that already exists, and we're really trying to help people create a lifestyle which is sustainable. So we'll point them to the resources that already exist in their communities. So we have lists of all these groups that you can run with for Hackney, for example, our first event of the year. We'll point you to an event or a group in each neighborhood that you can run with every Thursday or Tuesday, so that you can meet people, because ultimately I think if you know other people that are training with you, it makes it that much easier. Doing it on your own and following a spreadsheet is always going to be hard. So we're doing that. We're pointing people to local resources, and we're also hosting runs ourselves once in a while. We do a run every week out of an A6 store, one of our main partners. So we do have that, and we bring local group leaders to each of those A6 runs so that you meet people that are leading clubs all over the city and can go to them for a longer term support system.
So with the races, there's or what you're doing in general, there's another theme here, and when we were communicating before this, you kind of felt that there was something different here from the charity aspect. And one of the things that I found interesting from the email you sent me is that the charity model needs to change. Why is this? And I suppose, how do you feel you're impacting on that model?
Yeah. So I'll explain a little bit how our relationship with charities works, because I think it's confusing to someone on the outside and interesting. So we partner with hundreds of charities, and we have big partnerships like with cancer research, but also really small partnerships for maybe 5 entries with a really local charity. And that's one thing that we're trying to do a bit differently, is highlight hyper-local charities that are making a big impact in the communities that we're running in, because we're really trying to stay local in everything that we're doing. And so we're trying to help them raise funds using the event as a platform. So we'll sell them an entry, and then they're going to earn money off of that entry because we're pointing runners to them. We're helping them market. So I think that's something that a lot of event operators could be doing better, is providing those smaller charities especially the tools to market themselves and then generate funds for these entries. So there's some people that can't get an entry to a race unless they run for a charity. If the event's sold out, and that's the position we're in with Hackney right now. But then there are also events that aren't sold out where you're just trying to convince a runner, like, if you're going to run, you might as well run for charity. And so to connect them with all these groups for all these different causes is part of our purpose and objective with every event. So trying to partner with more charities and help those charities market and generate sustainable revenue from endurance sports is a major part of what we do. Sure.
Okay, interesting. So with you as a top line, like Virgin, are you then literally supporting hundreds and hundreds of charities, or does Virgin say, right, we're working with cancer research and like 3 or 4 others as the primary focus for you to share that message of that charity? Because I suppose if you start to really try and literally help everyone,
Yeah.
your message could be lost, and everyone's like, well, who are they really passionate about supporting? Where is the money intended to go?
Yeah, there is some hierarchy. We have our series partnership right now is with cancer research, so that's the primary cause that we're promoting and marketing and driving people toward Cancer Research UK. And then below that, for each event, we have 2 or 3 second-tier partners that have a lot of visibility, but not as much as Cancer Research. And then there's kind of a third tier where you've got all of the super local, maybe more niche causes. And at that level, I think it's more about helping a runner find something that is really tailored to their interests or experiences or cause that matters to them. So it's not about like, I'm going to raise money for the cause that Virgin cares most about. It's like, I'm going to raise money for pancreatic cancer because my mom had pancreatic cancer, sort of thing.
So like values and stuff, and like why we connect with certain, missions that various companies have. I had Cancer Research UK on the show probably about 2 months ago now. We talked about the obesity campaign because at the time it was very hot. The media was really hot on the obesity campaign that Cancer Research put out, and connecting those dots between, how we eat and how we behave has a direct effect on cancer. Is that something that you guys really resonated with? And is there, I suppose I would ask, like, what else does Virgin feel they're doing to support combating obesity and all these lifestyle conditions that we're literally people are staring down the barrel of?
Yeah. Cancer Research is a great partnership because they have strong relationships with a lot of different races and endurance sports businesses. So they have programs to help people train and get ready and fundraise, and then after continue to have a relationship with that cause and stay healthy. So somebody who's a charity that's really invested in the space and believes that events can have a meaningful impact on their business and an individual's life are going to be great partners versus other partners that don't have as many resources or experience with the model and running. And then I think our efforts to combat obesity are definitely multifaceted, and versus other running races, we're trying to do more multi-sport. So like I was saying, right size challenges for everyone. We're not just doing the half marathon because that's intimidating to a lot of people. And we feel like the spectator is a neglected stakeholder in this whole thing. Like watching a running race is boring. You get to see your friend for maybe 3 seconds. And they might not even see you. Yeah, and so how is that person who's intimidated by the half and cold or bored watching their friend, or might not even come out to support because they don't think there's anything for them to do? How do we engage them and start them on their fitness journey? So Hackney is definitely the most evolved of our vision when it comes to events, and we've got a great partnership with the city council there and have all this space in the Hackney Marshes to produce free fitness classes, a free 5K on the Saturday in advance of the half. We've got all sorts of food and local vendors coming out, all oriented around fitness and lifestyle. So we're introducing the spectator to things that are a little more approachable than a half marathon, and so it's kind of an entree into the lifestyle, I think, more so than you can watch the London Marathon this weekend and probably think that's not for me, there's no way I'll ever be there, and it's really not a launching pad for a spectator necessarily. It is inspiring to a ton of people, and your first idea or seed of an idea of running might come from spectating, but we want those spectators to be moving at our events.
Delving into your running background a bit more, because whenever I sit across the table with a pro athlete, someone that's got so much time under their belt in athletics, when you're talking to runners and in your experience of all the running you've done, what mistakes do people make in getting running wrong? What, even from footwear to food to training to periodization, like what tips would you give to I suppose, prolong someone's running career and not get injured and not feel down or tired.
Yeah. I think, and I'll clarify, I'm not a professional runner. I've been running for a while, but I wouldn't consider myself a pro. The advice I would give, I spent a lot of years, probably 10, 15 marathons, just getting as much mileage in as I could, and I would run the same pace all the time. I would just go out and run and run and run. And I didn't get that much faster, and I wasn't doing strength training, and I wasn't doing much speed work. And so just in the last few years, I've introduced that into my routine, and I probably spend less time working out than I used to when I first started running marathons, but it's so much more efficient. And I think especially if you have a family and a busy work life, it's so much easier to get a workout in when it's just like a 30-minute track session or lifting some free weights. And I found that to be really impactful on my times and balance in terms of like muscle imbalances and injuries. It's great to have a more well-rounded routine. So it's not going to get you very far if you keep piling on the mileage every week, every race. You're just going to break down at a certain point.
Sure.
Is what I've learned.
And over all of those years experimenting and looking at your nutrition and supporting yourself, kind of if someone was to stand next to you at a bus stop and say, "Oh, I'm a runner. Yeah, I'm into that, and I do 10Ks at the weekend. Oh, I'm not quite getting my nutrition right. Like, what do you do? What do you believe in? How would you frame your general nutrition perspective to someone else?"
I like to eat. That's part of why I run. So I don't like to forbid myself from anything. It's more about moderation and planning too. I like to plan on the weekends and shop and prep and make sure that I have a healthy snack at the ready, rather than what you might default to if you don't have anything prepped. So yeah, I think for me the themes are moderation and planning.
Sure. What advice would you give someone, because moderation's is a bit of a dirty word, it's a big word, like moderation to one person might be something totally different to another. What does moderation feel like to you? And the reason why I use the word feel is I think in fitness right now there's quite a big movement about how people are feeling about their health and fitness. It's still structural, so people are still planning and thinking of outcome-based fitness, but I think there's a lot more awareness, especially in this mindfulness movement we're seeing in fitness, of how does fitness make you feel. And I think one of the things that you talk about in terms of moderation, I suppose it's almost a feeling that you are getting health and fitness outcomes from what you're doing, but you feel that you have balance within it all. And actually I find people really struggle to find their own balance with health and fitness, that it's all positive. We are getting positive results from all of it rather than negative. And the reason why I bring up negative is, you might exercise all the time, but you feel almost owned by your training and your nutrition because it has to be a certain way to get a certain outcome.
Yeah. Finding balance. I think it's I stay away from tracking things.
Okay. So like calories and macronutrients.
I have for a period of time, and I found it really helpful just to educate myself. For like a week or two. I would track years ago. I was traveling a lot for a different job, and I wanted to know more specifically like how whether something was healthy or not, even like because you don't realize sometimes how bad like mayonnaise could be. So I learned a lot over a few weeks of tracking, maybe years ago, about what's good and what's bad, and then you kind of know. And to me, then there's no point in like overanalyzing to the calorie what you're eating, and then I go based more on feeling like I know if I ate a whole bag of crisps or ice cream yesterday that's bad, but I can do that once in a while because I work out, and I don't do it all the time. And then I think in terms of like how you feel, to me it's I feel like everybody's so unique. Every body is literally unique. So someone once told me, like, you can read all of this about like gluten or whatever might be bad for you, but you can't really generalize because everybody's so unique. So you should do experiments. Like, you are your own like N of sample size of 1.
Yeah.
So try giving up gluten for weeks, see if you feel better. If not, then gluten's always going to exist. So I've tried to do a little bit of that over the years just to see how you feel afterward. And I feel like it's really compelling when you know, like, I'm going to feel terrible if I eat a ton of dairy, so I'm not going to do it. Like, if you learn and can pinpoint those things that don't jive as well with your body.
Of course, yeah. Listen, respond, and just try things out. I think, you and me that have been in fitness for a long time and looked after themselves have probably been through just a lot of these evolving journeys of picking up information and you understand whether it's scientifically based, and that way you can make a common sense decision whether that makes sense or not. But otherwise, there's always going to be things that aren't proven by science and don't have a logical explanation. And you do have to just say to someone, try it. If it doesn't work for you for a week, 2 weeks, then move on, try something else. It's like, we talked about, your gym pass system of like trying one thing, no, you don't really like it, try another thing. And I think that's the way that people have to go. But I think sometimes people struggle with trusting themselves. I noticed that as a big theme in fitness, that it's like we always have to have a system, and sometimes there just isn't a system for things. You literally just have to ask yourself how you're feeling. No, that's not great, and then you need to kind of move on. So with what's coming up with Virgin, talk to me about what the sporting calendar looks like this summer. You've got a lot going on. You've got the Hackney race. Get people that might be listening to this excited about what you guys are doing and what they can get involved in.
So our first event of the year is in Hackney, May 20th, and the centerpiece of that event is a half marathon. So we've got 20,000 people registered for the Hackney half this year. It's the biggest Hackney half ever, and potentially the biggest half marathon in London now, which is really exciting. So that's fun to watch. And also there's so much going on around that. So every event that we do, we try to have other things, as I was saying, for people to participate. So we're trying to break a world record for boxing. We're getting Troy Duray, and he has this brand called Fight Club. He brings people together all over the UK. Maybe you know him. He's going to be leading a class, what will hopefully be the world's largest boxing class. So we're going to have a couple thousand people doing that Saturday or Sunday afternoon. And that's still open for people to register for and get in on. If you just want to come and eat and see all the local Hackney vendors and watch the finish, that's totally free. You can come out and there'll be some free fitness classes on Sunday, May 20th, free 5K the Saturday before. So lots to do, even if you're not running the half. And then following that, we've got the British 10K, which is our central London, really fun race through all the landmarks. So that's following Hackney.
So if people want to find out where to get information, where do they go? What are the links? What are the social handles?
Virginsport.com.
Just virginsport.com. Everything's there that they'll ever need to know. Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time today. I hope the race goes well. You offered me a ticket. I'm not a massive runner. You were like, come along, do the Hackney marathon, half marathon. I was like, well, I'm not a big runner. I told you I wasn't free. I'm actually now free. So I could be holding myself accountable that I'll come and run the race. I won't say for definite, because people are amazing at tweeting me and saying, Ben, you said this on a podcast. You've got to go and do it now. You said this. I might be able to do it, so we'll see. I might be there.
Or boxing. You can come box with us.
Well, can I run and then box?
Yes,
can I do
you
both?
Can do both. Do the double.
So it's not too ambitious.
No.
I like a plan. Thank you very much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you.
For everyone listening, go to virginsport.com. There is some cool stuff listening. If the dates don't work out for you right now, then find an email list, join up, get on the waiting list so you can join future events, follow Virgin Sport on social media so you can stay updated with this other information, and then you'll learn interesting things that you can get involved with. There's always stuff happening. Virgin are doing lots of cool things. That's what they do. Business for good, as they say. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this show, what do you need to do? You know what to do. Share it, invite someone in, tag someone in. If you've got a friend that would love to do a race that Virgin are putting on, then, again, tag them in, say, hey, look at this podcast. Otherwise, I will see you very soon on the podcast. Goodbye. Whoa, just before you go, couple of things. Firstly, if you need my help at any point in time, reach out to my Facebook fan page, ask a question, and I'll get back to you. The reason I like my Facebook fan page is because I can send voice memos back, and it's really time efficient for me to be able to help as many people as possible. If you want to find out just anything I'm up to, keep abreast of social media, make sure you're on my email newsletter, and all of that info is at bencoomber.com. If you want nutrition education in the future, then have a look at the BTNacademy. That's our online nutrition courses. If you want to be coached by me, then join my 90-day body and mind transformation program, Fat Loss for Life. And if you're looking for clarity, honesty, simplicity, and research-proven supplements that taste awesome, then go to awesomesupplements.co.uk. That's my links. That's where to find me. That's where to find the cool stuff. I'm out. Have an awesome day.
Welcome to Ben Coomber Radio. This is episode, I believe, number 319.